Welcome to another episode of Redhawks Report Podcast. And today I don't have a co-host, but I think we'll do okay anyway. I do have some interesting talking points here for this episode. It's going to be a little bit shorter episode, I think, but we'll go through it here. So, some thoughts on the first practice, the open practice. The first ice practice was open to the public. I was there. I did a few short live streams from there and tried to get a decent view through the glass there, but the glass was a little bit dirty. So as you could tell, it was a little bit difficult to get a good camera angle. And the speed was good. The speed was I don't feel I really feel bad for the cameramen who have to constantly move the camera back and forth. It's a very fast sport. Even on the ice practice, even on a regular practice, the pace is very high. And yeah, there were a lot of people. A lot of people came out to watch it, so that was good. And there was a lot of people getting the autographs and pictures and whatnot. So a very successful first practice there from a PR perspective as well, from the club's perspective. One sad news is that Jakub Galvas is injured. He's injured. So 9 defensemen becomes 8, and yeah, he's out for 4 weeks. So he's gonna miss most of the preseason, pretty much all preseason. This means that he will basically be about a month behind everyone else in terms of the timing and the pace and everything that you iron out during the first 4 weeks of the season on ice. But yeah, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. So let's see here. I'm gonna use preseason schedule. So next week we have the preseason tournament, Svenska Spel Trophy, and we're on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. local time. We'll be facing Visby Roma, and then on Thursday we'll be facing IK Oskarshamn, and then on the Saturday we'll be facing HV71. So third tier team, second tier team, first tier team. So Hockeyettan, Hockeyallsvenskan, and SHL team. So it's a good, I would expect us to win comfortably against Visby. I would expect us to win against Oskarshamn, and I would expect it to be a good game between HV71 and Malmö on that Saturday. And you will have the 4th episode of this podcast will come out the day after to cover, and we'll go over all these games for that, so stay tuned for that as well. And yeah, then we have Thursday, 22nd of August is the first and only home game. I will be there. I'll most likely be live streaming maybe a little bit from the game. So yeah. But anyway, let's move on from this. So Oskar Blomgren, I just wanted to mention him. So he's the 3rd goalkeeper, and he's loaned out to Almtuna. So we'll be keeping an eye out for Almtuna this season. Freddy Larsson is loaned out to the other Malmö club, IK Panton. It's in Hockeyettan Södra, which is a regional. It's a regional league. Hockeyettan is the 3rd tier. The first 2 tiers are national, and the 3rd tier is there's a regional. The first half of the season is regional, and then the best of each region face off on the second in the second half of the season. I wanted to go over something when it comes to the rosters, right? So if we look at the last year, first of all, neither Adam Werner nor Daniel Mamelin took the opportunity, let's say, to be number 1, right? We were constantly searching for the number 1. Neither took the chance. They were good at different parts of the season. We had Timothy Valma. Before he got injured, we were flying high. We were winning games. We were top 4 in the league. Everything was good. He got injured in a freak accident with a referee. He was out for 3 months, and it just started going downhill from there. That was the catalyst, in my mind. That was the catalyst of our downfall to the bottom regions of the standings, right? And then Markus Lauritsen, not very good. He was shipped off to Germany, I believe. I think he plays in Germany now. ALC Frankfurt or something like that. Let's see. Where does he play? Leuven Frankfurt. Yeah. So so he's playing in the German league now. He only scored 6. Well, he scored 6 points in 16 games, which was the same as he scored in 28 games for us last season. So, very similar numbers actually, which is crazy. But yeah, he that level should probably suit him better than the SHL. It's a little bit too fast for him. Same as his brother the year before, really. And then we had a bunch of loanees, right? We had to emergency repair our defense at times. We had Max Villain, 17-year-old, played like 4 games, I believe. And yeah, it was just a bit of a mess when we had the big injury problem, and we were overusing Dominik Badinka. He was way overused. It was his first senior season, and well, he was actually picked up from the junior league. He was supposed to play the junior league all last year, but he didn't because the coaching staff felt he was ready, but he was going to be playing like third pairing minutes, maybe as an extra defender. Instead, he was on the top 4 on that decor most of the season because we were constantly injury prone and suffered injuries a lot. So that will not be as much of an issue this year because we have more depth. We have a lot more depth. Vitasalo was a pickup during the season. Huelin didn't play a single game. I don't know even why he's registered here. Armulas Mattsson and Joachim Ryan wasn't quite doing the same. Like they were not quite the same as the years before. And obviously Adam's motivation went by, and he wanted out. But instead of using the clause in his contract to go to Switzerland, he instead got bought out by a competing team in the SHL, which is sort of a stab in the heart. Let's be real. It felt like more of a betrayal that he would move to Färjestad. They get a very, very good player. I think he was just a little bit stagnated here. He definitely improved his two-way game from when he came originally. But yeah, he didn't quite have the support behind him, let's say. But yeah, I hope Johan Everson has a bounce back year. He did have a bit of a rough start. He played for Södertälje in Hockeyallsvenskan and had a good year there, 2 good years there. But SHL is a big step up, and he did struggle. Jakob Galva struggled his first year. I hope that the injury this early isn't going to hinder his development to get back to the levels that we know that he can play at. And we saw glimpses of it late last season, so let's see if we can get better development under the new defensive coach. For all these guys, honestly. But yeah, obviously the loss of Janne Kokkanen and Lauri Pajuniemi will be huge, but I feel like we've actually replaced them and also Alan Quine very, very well. Considering Alan Quine was supposed to be much better than he was, he barely played. He was mostly injured, and then when he played, he was not very good defensively. He was a liability, so he was unplayable. And I mean, Lucas Van Blom left in the middle of the season. It didn't prove it. In my opinion, he didn't prove himself enough to warrant play time higher up, and he didn't approve of that, so he wanted out, and he's now in Finland, I believe, and he's staying there. So good for him. But yeah, so that's the difference, right? We didn't have quite the depth last year. We were very top heavy. We only had Janne Kokkonen, Lauri Pajuniemi. That was the only like really really good players, and Carl Passon had his best year of his career as well to show for it as the third line. Oh well, the third guy on that first line. Um, so if we look at this year's roster, right, we have a clear. I will say this. It's pretty clear who's going to be number one going in. Mark Langhammer is a international. He's a national team goalkeeper. He's been representing Czechia in national team tournaments. He's won a medal with the Czech national team. He's a very good player. The only down year he's had in his career was with Oskarshamn, and Oskarshamn did not play a very good defense in front of him either. So I think what speaks for us this year is, one, we have a new defensive coach, so we will have more defensive structure. We have a number one goaltender and a number two goaltender, a clear let's say hierarchy on the goaltending post. We have young players that are eager to improve, and we have some older players that are eager to take the lead, take charge. We have some younger players, some that are young but have a lot of experience, that want to take that next step. So I think we have a good mix. If we go through here, we have Dominik Badinka. He was just drafted, signed by Carolina, and then he was loaned out to us, back to us. We have Josef Bergo. He did very well in Mura in Hockeyallsvenskan last year. He's a great skater. If we take a look at him, he is from Visby, which is a little bit odd, but yeah. Sweden and Italy. Youth team was Frölunda, mobile defenseman, two-way defenseman. So he produced 15 points in 50 games in Hockeyallsvenskan last year. You can tell that he's taken the long route. So he played for Karin Ronneby, Kalmar, Hanhals. These are all third-tier hockey here. Once he got out of J20 Super Elite, Hockeyallsvenskan, and then he didn't play much in Hockeyallsvenskan. He was loaned out, and then he played Hockeyallsvenskan again, and then he had, I think it's 3 seasons ago. Yeah, 3 seasons ago he played with KIF Hockey, and then moved to Hockeyallsvenskan and did okay there with Södertälje, and then he moved to Tingsryd, did well there, 17 points in 37 games, and then obviously last year he had a breakthrough season, and obviously they like what they see, because otherwise he wouldn't be here. But he is going to be a depth option to start the year. If we look elsewhere, we have Jakub Galvas. He's going to have his second year here. He knows now what to expect of the league. I expect him to improve, even though his injury might hinder him at the beginning here. I think he will have a better year overall than he had last year. Johan Ivarsson, I expect him to be better than last year. Again, he's new at this level, sort of. He's taken a bit of a detour, let's say. He was in Malmö and then he left. If we go down, or up rather. So he was in Malmö. He's gone through the junior categories, and then he played 46 games in 2015-2016, and 21 games in 2016-2017. Was loaned out to IK Panton, and then he moved permanently to Panton. Then he went to Färjestad for 2 years, and then he's been in TPS, and then he played 1 year in Södertälje and did very well there. 18 points in 51 games for a defensive defenseman is very, very good. And obviously, He only scored 8 points in 46 games and was a -5, but he is a defensive defenseman first. He's a classic stay-at-home defenseman, but with the upside of being good on his skates and being able to pass it out instead of just dumping the puck out. So hopefully under the new defensive coach Bert Robertson, he can improve his breakout pass even further. If we look at Hugo Jonasson, again, defensive defenseman, he's also very young. He's born 2003. He's 20 years of age, 21 this year. He's going to be a depth option to start. Teemu Kivihalme, he had a pretty much a season-ending injury. He played 17 games, got injured, and then came back, and then played the last 12 games of the season. And he just wasn't himself. He wasn't the same player that we had seen flying out there on the ice. He's such a great skater. He was an absolute revelation during those first 17 games, and then that freak accident with the referee just absolutely ruined his season. And as a consequence of that, I think that was the catalyst. Like I said earlier, that was the catalyst. I think he's going to have a great year. I hope that he can stay away from the refs. And yeah, it could be a great year for the team and for him individually. Matthias Lassen, very, very dependable, rarely ever injured. He always starts as a depth option, but he ends up playing 35 games anyway out of the season. So it's like he is a regular, but he is a depth option. But he is a regular. It's a kind of a weird situation. But yeah, right now, if everyone is healthy, I think he is the 7th defenseman. 7th, and then 8th, and then Hugo Jonasson is 9th. That's my opinion, anyway. Robin Salo, he had a few great years in Örebro, I believe. A few years back. Yep. He went from Saipa to Örebro, played 12 games, 6 points, half a point a game player, and then he was loaned to Örebro for that next year. Scored 30 points in 51 games, and then he moved over to NHL and AHL. He's been there for 3 seasons. Been a sort of like an up and down. Not done good enough to play NHL time. Obviously, you can tell 11 games that would be him covering for injury, I would assume. And he didn't play a single NHL game last year, and he was -19. So I think he is here to bounce back, to get, just to be able to take steps again. The hockey is different over there. It's more of a business. It's more of every man for himself. It's a bit daunting sometimes, but you have to realize that it's very different. It is very different. Like the business side of things is very different in the NHL. Same with Lasse Thomson. Lasse Thomson is actually very interesting. There's an article here. He was chosen early in the draft. He was the captain for his team in the Junior World Championships, and he was expected to have a similar career to Miro Heiskanen in Dallas Stars, and instead, none of that happened. So yeah, he has returned to Europe and he says himself in this interview, he says that he just wants to be here for a few years and have a few good years, and then he might want to bounce back to the NHL. Which, I mean, why not? Why not? We're happy to have him, and his individual success will help the team. So again, why not? So I honestly think the defensive core is improved. Where it's much younger, as you can tell, but very, very much improved. In terms of skill, in terms of speed, I think we're very, very good on the defense. In terms of forwards, I think it's important to note that Um, Kokkanen was phenomenal, okay? And Payuniemi was his right-hand man, and they were a good pairing. But Quine, the third player that we were supposed to depend on, he did not show up. This year, instead of having two really, really expensive guys, we've spread that out a little bit. So we have more options. So we have Henrik Haapala. He's probably not as good as Kokkanen, but he is slightly, he's a Kokkanen light kind of player, I think. That's what I've been getting out of it anyway. And then Robin Hansel is the replacement for Alan Quine. The difference is Robin Hansel has been in the SHL for a few years. He knows what to expect. He knows what to do on the ice, and he's a very solid option. He is getting on in terms of age, but the thing is, right? We do need leadership. We need the mix with veteran guys and the younger players. So I don't mind that at all, to be honest with you. Um, we do have a few players that have been here a long time that is getting on in age. Like Christopher Forsberg is now 30. I think it was 23 when he came here. So it's been a while. Same with Fredrik Hennemark. He was like 23, 24 when he arrived, and he's been here pretty much ever since. He's had a few detours, but really has been here ever since. Joona Ikonen is supposedly the replacement for Payuniemi. What I would say is yes, Joona Ikonen is the replacement, but he's more of a inside player, a slot player. He's not a sniper per se. He's better defensively, so he's more of a two-way player. Um, what excites me about this roster is Nikola Pasic, only 23 years of age. He's from Gislaved, so he's from the region, right? We have Otto Stenberg, only 19 years of age. He wants his breakthrough. We have Petter Westerheim, also 19 years of age. We have William von Bonnekov, who's still young, still improving. And last but not least, we have Linus Öberg, a sniper. Finally, we haven't had a proper sniper, since we let go of Marcus Silvergård. We haven't had a proper sniper in that left face-off circle ever since we let go of Marcus Silvergård again to Växjö a second time. Kind of pissed me off a little bit there, but so we're gonna have a good power play. We have a lot of good options. There's going to be competition for places both in PK and power play and in 5-on-5. It's going to be good. Everyone's going to be pushing everyone. I do think that our team has improved quite a bit over last year, and that is also why I think we're going to the playoffs. There's no reason why we shouldn't take that step. Axel Sundberg is my only concern. He came in the middle of last year from Örebro. He didn't play very well there. He didn't play very well for us. I don't think he scored a single point, and I think that is why I don't really rate him. He was 0 points in 11 games, and only 5 points in 39 games in Örebro. I don't really rate him. I think we should loan him back to Hockeyallsvenskan, because he did score 18 goals and 36 points in 49 games with Mura. So he's not a bad player, but on the SHL level, is he that good? I think SHL is a little bit too high for him. So a loan would be probably what he will get. We'll see. I mean, he is 26, so would he accept a loan? Maybe not. Don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, he's the odd man out right now for me. The other ones are probably Albert Hellberg. He did improve immensely. The difference between early season and late season was very, very clear. But he will still be the extra player, odd man out, to start the season, I feel. And then it's very tough. It is very tough. I think William von Bonnekov is still going to be the an extra player, the depth option down the middle, and then we'll play Westerheim and Otto Stenberg on the line with a third player. I don't know exactly who that would be. We'll have to see the line combinations as we go here into the first preseason game on Tuesday. But yeah, I just wanted to go over this and compare to last year. So, Yusuf Bago. Okay, right. So we had the injuries, we had depth problems last year. Those are corrected this year. We have less offensively skilled forwards, but it's the offensive skill is more spread out over more players that can do that extra move or that extra goal. You know, what else was I thinking about? Yeah, so new coaching staff I think is huge actually. It hasn't been mentioned much, but Bert Robertson is a great defensive coach. And I can't remember the name of the other guy. Let me see. What's the staff? Staff. What was the other guy? Slipped my mind. Let's go to. Doesn't it say the staff? Oh, there. Jens Nielsen. Is he director of scouting? Oh no, that's okay. Never mind. I'm not reading it properly. So yeah. Jens Nielsen is our offensive coach. Bert Robertson is our defensive coach. Christopher Nilstorp is our goaltending coach. We have a great analyst in Andreas Hodlöv. But yeah. All right. So that is going to be huge. That is going to be huge. We will have better power play. We'll have better PK. We'll have better defensive structure. That's my expectation anyway. And better defensive structure will mean that we can turn the puck over and get those 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, the breakaways. So I'm very hopeful. I am very hopeful. Also, something I was requested to do was go over the under 18 and J20 rosters. So let's do that right now. So in the J18 or the U18, under 18 years of age, Oliver Gren. He's the son of Morten Gren. Morten Gren did 3 years with Malmö, and he's played a lot of different SHL teams. So if we look at him, he played with Leksand, Troja Ljungby, Modo, Rögle, Leksand, Malmö for 3 years, and then he played a little bit in the German league, and then he finished his career in 2018 with Rungsted Seja Capital. So, yeah, he was a good player, and his son is now 16 years of age. I don't know much about him, but he has done pretty okay in Denmark. So he's been picked up for the J18 regional with the J18 team. So we'll see how he does. Someone to keep an eye on. As well as Daniel Padinka. So this is now J20. All of these guys are J20. So Daniel Padinka is a forward. He's the twin brother of Dominik Padinka. And he's more of an energy forward. He's more of a role player, I would say. Two-way forward. Takes a little bit longer to develop, maybe. Might not make the big splash in terms of drafts and whatnot. But yeah, he did okay in U18 in Finland. And last year he had 12 points. Was a -8. Sorry. He's doing his second year as well. I think there's always an adjustment period for people who are moving country. So they moved early on to from Czechia to Finland. They stayed there for 1 year and then they went here. So just to get that stability, it's not easy to move when you're that young. I think he will do better. Another one to keep an eye on, another defenseman here. 6'3", 198 pounds, 190 centimeters, 90 kilograms. Max Villain, he played quite a few. He played 4 games with the SHL team, with the men's team. He scored 18 points in 49 games last year in the J20 National League, and 5 points in 4 games in the J18. Because he was 17 last year. He just turned 18 in June, so he's still very young. I will expect him to do better than 18 points in 49 games. I would expect maybe 25, something. I don't really follow the junior hockey. Maybe I should do that. If there's a demand for covering the junior leagues here, then maybe I will. But he is definitely someone that I would want to see take steps this year, and then the next following year he could take the step to the men's league maybe. Um, and yeah, if we move on, we have another Czech who is also Slovakian. He's both Czech and Slovakian, from Liberec, and he's played now for 2 years in the Malmö Redhawks junior system. He played in the U18 and the J18, U16, sorry, U16, 22 points in 13 games. That's crazy. 12 points in 6 games there in the Swedish Championships for under 16s. 46 points in 26 games in the J18 regional last year. So he's got some skill, and he's scoring like mad here. In J20 he didn't do very well. He did one assist in 9 games, but it is a big step up again between the regional and the national leagues in the junior system. It's quite a big step up, so it doesn't really surprise all that much. And then he also played 2 games in Slovakia, I guess. I'm not sure about that, but I think that's the Slovakian men's league. Interesting. But yeah, he's back here in Malmö for this coming season. So that's another one to keep an eye out on. Ville Magnotoft. If you've been a fan of Malmö, you probably know his father, Marcus Magnotoft. He played from 1993 to 2005 for Malmö, so quite a long time he played for Malmö before he retired. And yeah, Ville Magnotoft, he played 9 games for the men's league when we had injury issues last year. Probably a little bit overused. He probably should have stayed in the junior leagues. He scored 16 points in 41 games in negative 18. But yeah, he's back in the juniors J20, and I wouldn't expect him to play much in the men's league this year because we have more depth. But yeah, he's a two-way center, a decent centerman. Hopefully he can take steps this year and maybe get drafted, I guess. I mean, he is. Excuse me. He is 18 years of age. I think he's still draft eligible. So we'll see. Maybe he will be drafted. And then, last but not least, someone that someone that was mentioned to me actually, Isak Nilsson. He's 17 years of age. He's eligible for the draft next year, and he is playing. He played in the J18 Regional League, 23 points in 27 games, plus 13. He played 5 games in J20 National League and was a -2. Didn't score a single point. But it's a big step. So I would expect him to take steps this year and do better in the J20 from the start. So that is very promising. I mean, he had an insane year with the Division 1 team in the under 16 in IFK Täby, which is in Stockholm. 50 points, 26 goals in 23 games. I don't know this level. I don't know what the level is, honestly. I think it's under the regional. I think Division 1 is under the regional. I'm not sure, but 50 points in 23 games is over 2 points a game. Over 2 points a game. That's crazy. On any level, that's crazy. So, yeah, those are the ones that I wanted to go over, and then, um, yeah, I think that was it. I don't think that I've forgotten anything. Let me know what you want us to cover for the next episode. The next episode, what I do know is we'll cover some more NHL stuff. We'll cover the first three preseason games and go over them, and I'll take notes from watching them and what lines they were using and stuff like that, and see how they perform. Um, Maybe some of the issues that they need to iron out, some positives, negatives. Um, so yeah, but let me know if you have any questions, what you want us to cover in the next few episodes, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.